All right, folks, let's get to it here. Just want to do a quick update. Gonna have an abbreviated show today. I am a little under the weather, but we're gonna make it happen either way today. Give everyone a second to jump in and get settled here. What's going on with you guys? I will take questions. We're gonna keep it pretty loose, and I'm not gonna talk myself out. I'm still kind of getting over this head cold thing, but wanted to get today just kind of talk about what's going on right now. Everyone get with Harmonic Pattern Collection Software, HPC at sr-analyst.com. Thank you. And it all begins there at Harmonic Trader. Got to talk about what's going on. Just a little retrace today. Nasdaq's down 380-ish. Not a big deal. But, I think this is going to set us up for an opportunity. So let's focus on the opportunity. Like I said last time, nobody's thinking anything other than eventual continued higher highs as we get into the summer. So great to see everybody. Come on in. Settle in, folks. We're here Tuesday, Thursday, 12:30-ish. It's currently 12:45, but I need a little slack today. How's everybody doing? Let me check in. Let's get a voice check and stress test and all of that, and a prep step. I today want to just kind of talk about the retrace, what has happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and get to what we should be thinking about. going forward here as we get into the summer. Like, how high are we going to go on this? And should we be concerned at all? I'm not really there yet. I'm thinking that what started essentially 10 days ago is so early in this move that we just, we're going to have plenty of opportunities to get in on this as we begin to climb price discovery. So that's that nothing changes within what we've been talking about all along of this massive multi-year, decade-long bull market. 1 second. Here we go. Yep, there you go. That's it. So looking at the big obvious names coming up tomorrow is Microsoft, and Microsoft's down here. I'm long. I'm staying long. Pretty much we're looking for this to be a fairly large announcement, in my opinion. I don't even know what the numbers are, but if the assumption is trend continuation, like we've seen the last number of times, Microsoft should start to really get going from this lower level. And I think, that's probably the weaker of the Mag 7, but you're so early in that inflection that, it's there's still plenty of opportunity to the upside. And as we said last time, Microsoft will easily come back and retest the median line, and that's like 500, just based on the channel itself. Yeah, the other one was Nvidia, guys. I didn't really get into that enough until last week of this big breakout. And what we've seen so far is, nominally a new high, but this is the same kind of assumption. We're still looking for Nvidia just to continue to climb in this long-term uptrend channel. And are we close to 5 trillion? Yeah, we're $5.1 trillion market cap. Astounding. Where are we going? 6, 7 trillion? I would just look at this as yet another 1618 within the cycle as a minimum assumption. So Nvidia to go to 237, 240-ish, really not a problem. Not a problem. If anything, that last retracement that of beginning of the year probably was just another opportunity within this dynamic super cycle, and just continues. Others that are obvious, massive winners, we've seen Amazon, both Amazon and Apple. Amazon was something we looked at. Geez, it was only like 6 weeks ago. We were talking weekly continuation levels here. It was 200, 190 to 200. We had some prior patterns, and now look at what's going on. So all of this has progressed. It's really not. It's not out of the normal realm of possibility here for what we have seen for this just to keep on printing patterns, do a retracement, and set up again. Yep. What was there was one or two other ones here. Amazon and oh man, guys, I have brain fog. I gotta say this. My brain is just not working the last couple of days. I got this head cold, and I can't even think. Amazon, Apple. Thank you. See, I knew it was in the A's. Here's the big deal about Apple. This is probably one of the better patterns that we've seen within the trend at 250. And perfectly, we went from T2 retest to target 271. But we're also looking for this pattern just to be another continuation green light within this longer term trend that we've been projecting for a long time. So, nothing changes on any of this. I know the kind of the world seems like it's on fire, and people kind of just back and forth having, a fit like it's the end of the world. But, that's why we separate the noise and focus on the charts, focus on the harmonics, as this whole larger market phenomenon only continues further. It is amazing how much noise can filter into our brain and then, disrupt the obvious. So be aware of all of that. Come on in, guys. Yeah, I'm starting a little late today, a little under the weather, but come on in. And like I said, I'm probably going to go be an abbreviated show today. So if you want to pop in a couple of things, a couple of symbols, I'm happy to oblige, and then I'm going to roll out and hopefully be better full show for Thursday. But it's kind of just a kind of let's do a gut check here on the major names that this doesn't stop. And I talked about some pretty heady upside targets in the past week or so that I look at a day like today, especially with the Sox finally down 5%. That's probably the big story. And it's not even a story. But Sox did that blow off move through 10,000, which is what we were looking for. And now, do we take a breather? Yeah, probably. You look at the Sox here, all time projections. We clipped the 2618, and that was at 9,900. So if you need an exact measured level, just keep that in mind. I mean, 10,000 is a nice, pretty fat number, but really what we're looking at is a 2618 off of the 2024 to 2025 correction. And Sox is just it has led the way, and we have been talking about why the semiconductors were going to be the sector that takes the tech trade a lot higher. There you go. And so I wouldn't even think that it would be even a big deal if we have, say, a full 10% correction back into the channel, around 9,000. Okay, and many of you know what happened to Intel last week. We did discuss that. And I think Intel is going to backtest here and give you another opportunity because the long-term trend is absolutely destroyed all resistance points. And from this breakout, we're targeting that 115 level. Excuse me, 1 second. And so, kind of cat's out of the bag on Intel, and this goes a lot higher. Not just higher, a lot higher. How would I play this is I would break it down, say, on like an hourly and keep looking for minimum hourly dots. Let this, that was the big blow-off move, but, seriously, even like targeting these 5-minute day trade opportunities, like, Intel just bottomed out at 81.40 this morning for a little bit of a pop, and keep trying those. I really don't think that that's a crazy idea where every time we get oversold, even as a day trade, the underlying current is much higher. That's a few big names right off the top. A couple of the others that are, the high flyers, like obviously Micron. We've seen this down. It's down 28 right now. It was down 30. But here we go again. Another 5-minute pattern. To me, that's a perfect day trade. Pick up Micron right here, the 497, take it to 510. Because the momentum on the daily, the weekly, it's crazy. In fact, Micron, SanDisk, after doing the crazy move that they did, they're breaking out again. And my whole thought last week was that, and that's only that's a $560 billion market cap. That's not even a trillion. And that's the other thing. If it's a stock that's a couple hundred billion, you have to start thinking that this can go to a trillion market cap. Same way that Nvidia kind of blew out expectations over the last several years. To go from half a trillion, okay, to a $5 trillion company, it has to be kind of applied. This model has to be applied to these other monster semi plays. If I'm Micron, I would argue that you're like right there comparatively. Where Nvidia was breaking out last May, that's SanDisk, that's Micron. So they've got a ways to go. Couple others here. Oh, what was the other one? Like I said, brain fog. Oh, SanDisk. See? See? I just said SanDisk, and I just wanted to kind of flash that chart. That looks like an insane parabolic move. Absolutely. You might be thinking that. I'm thinking you just continue to go with this upside until it absolutely busts. Or let's say some pattern development materializes and prints some kind of crab or overbought. You don't have that. I know it's really difficult for people to see that this stuff has further to go. But yeah, I mean, we might get this dot this week with a bearish candle related to that initial signal. But in my opinion, where the rest of these signals are, you look, we're well overbought. We're staying in the overbought zone here for SanDisk, and then you're back above the 50 on the weekly. So even if these do print some signals this week by Friday, it's so early. It's so early that you're still playing this to the upside. Yeah, let's take a couple, guys, because I can tell I'm already starting to lose my voice. So I'm going to go through some picks, and then we're probably we were going to cut it short today. Oracle, I really like Oracle. I really like this position of Oracle. Who put that up? ETH and a few other guys. Oracle down here at 166 is a better spot here than even trying to scoop it down here. You're broken out of the trend. It's kind of like this. You're looking at that as like, hey, that's a first shot across the bow. So let's hit the retrace, and this area is going to be a lot better position than trying to bottom fish it down here. So that green line is down there is like roughly 150, currently 166. I said this last time. If you're buying these on a retrace, if it's Oracle or if it's Microsoft, you're not thinking quick move. You're thinking this is a massive weekly inflection for a larger continuation over the next 6 to 12 months to go back and retest minimum all-time highs. Yep. So I like that. I like it. Sure. SMR, what's up, Chase? Yeah, we talked about that last week, and again, SMR, Oklo, NuScale Power. These are all part of that nuclear modular energy trade that went ballistic last year. But the only one that did not retrace was Bloom Energy. And this is a beautiful type too, guys. Plenty of time there, explosion, and then looping retest. Well, there's your two, and then the arrow and the diamond. I would love a retest, but that would be back down at off of that arrow back at like 9. So I really said start looking at this to my crew yesterday, And I think also we have the limits of the downtrend finally being breached. So I think, yeah, last week was probably week one. And we see that in Oklo, which is probably my favorite of all of these. Oklo weekly with a daily bat pattern. A lot of these have a bat pattern like that, where XA level is 66 ish. But certainly, if these are going to continue, it's off of this level for sure. So I'm definitely, those are like atop the radar for sure. And then the other one was New Scale, and this one not as strong just yet. I mean, here's the problem with a bunch of them. Just so you're aware, hey, why isn't it blasting just yet? Well, the initial reaction, okay, generated just a quick overbought, and it's knocking you back down. That's all right. Let's look for like an XA retest. Hit that XA retest. I'd love to even get back as low as that 20 mark, retest our confirmation. But these are close. This is how we pinpoint these inflections for that larger swing play. Definitely. Couple more. Couple more. IBM. What's up, Anthony? I like IBM. I really, that's another one where I'm targeting some low point down here to end this correction. And it's, as I like to say, kind of a forever stock. So if you're looking to play this, take your time, plenty of time, but you're against these weekly oversold continuation levels, arrow, dot, double dot here, where what we're thinking is IBM has retraced, okay, and it's trying to resume this accelerated uptrend from the last couple of years. And that's a great idea. IBM to go much higher than you're at right now. If anything, check out what IBM has done on the long term, where framework just kind of screaming at us. So it explodes, there's the breakout phase like that. Then it takes the 886. Then it goes 1618, 1902. That's what that is. Right up to the 1902, guys. That's how that works. 1618, 1902. It's a real healthy price discovery objective. And now what? We're at the 382 all-time weekly. And so you start looking here, and that's basically where you are, 230. That 230 level. And what you're looking for is a minimum continuation back where we get that 886 recovery move. That's like 100 points. We're framing out an entry for a minimum 100-point retest. Absolutely. That's another one. And that's a great comment. Yeah, it is exactly the kind of stock that you do add to your Roth IRA, Roth, because you want Roth over traditional IRA. You just do. You don't want to be paying taxes on the back end. Get the Roth. But yes, a couple others. Vistra. Here, I hear you guys talking. Vistra is another one. It's been back down. We've been looking at this kind of a setup on the channel. And wasn't there something here on the daily? Yeah, a couple patterns. All down at like 147-ish. So working its way. We have two of two. We have this big bat, did the one, did the two, and then this little tiny Gartley. So all of that price-wise is already completed. I'm not in it yet. I'm definitely looking for an area to enter. But, another one, get it on the radar. The confirmation is 149, 150. XA is like 147. But these are exactly the kind of plays we should be lining up now, that once they come out of these holes and they continue, they should go much higher into the end of the year and especially next year. Couple more, guys. Roblox. What's up, James? I haven't looked at that in a long time. Not a bad idea. I mean, that was a former high flyer. Pretty crazy. Now back on its primary long-term uptrend, like that. What about weekly? Yeah, it's okay. I think it's another one where you probably, the opportunity maybe started a week ago. Since the top, we've got this double dot with the diamond, everything down there. It's like 57. But where are we? I mean, that's looking better development wise. I would just want to see that get above the 50. That's amplified RSI on the weekly. No need to rush on these, and I'll tell you why. If you're lining these up, and you guys, a lot of these have been really solid ideas. You know, former high flyer, now it's a 60% retrace. At what point does this long-term retrace truly become an opportunity? Well, you got to break the downtrend. You did that 2 weeks ago, checking back. So now you're in a spot. Now you're in a spot where things can happen. But I still say it's a little early. I would rather wait for the development than chasing it. Yeah, daily just generated that counter signal. But get it on the radar. Just get it on the radar, and then, let's check in on this at least once a week. Yeah. CRISPR, that's one that's been around forever and not really trending. This one's like Bloom Energy. It's a huge concept stock that I think someday will have its due. I like it. You're down there retesting this bat pattern. What's the problem? You're not trending. And look at all these patterns here. I mean, this is pretty loco. That's a phenomenal Gartley all time. Yeah, I mean, look, with these kind of situations, the pattern is amazing. But why wouldn't this explode? Well, you take the shots after the pattern completes with confirmation. And there are the last two times beyond this downtrend where you've actually had confirmation. And so $52, probably a good place to start looking for the next attempt. And if it doesn't get going and you get like a pop and a rollback down, I don't think that much going from like 50 to 70. That's probably very doable. But if it doesn't get through 70, it's probably just going to be stuck in that range. Yeah. Not bad. I mean, I've always heard things about it, and that and Bloom Energy were the two that I always kind of associated together. Bloom Energy exploded. Adobe, boy, what happened to Adobe? 700 down to 245. Is this a real opportunity at the bat pattern? Maybe. Hop level 223. So we're gonna have to see. It's another good idea. The diamond won't be really ready until next week, guys. Yeah, I don't. I think you still got to wait. It's also, look, it's this kind of sustained downtrend. You need to see development before that ever pops out of there. Yeah. One or two more guys. I'm already losing my voice. I can't talk my voice out. So I'll go through the last two or three, and then I'm gonna call it super early. Ring Energy. We talked about that. Yeah, I like that one. It's all right. A nice low floater. Here's another example of why you would want to play the breakout or wait for the breakout like that. Patterns like 159, but to the right of that downtrend is really where you had something going. Yeah. Guys, I'm going to pull the plug. I'm already losing my voice. I've been only going here for, wow, we got quite a crowd. I'm really sorry. Um, yeah, can't talk my voice out here, and it's already shot. So guys, let's come back on Thursday, all right? Get over to Harmonic Trader right now. Start there and check it out. Let's come back on Thursday. I'll be better. If I keep going, I'm going to talk my voice out and it'll be gone again. This thing started last week. So I appreciate everybody. Thanks for your patience. Come on back 12:30. Hit like and subscribe on the way out. All right, and I'll catch you Thursday and we'll do a banger show. Appreciate you. All right, have a great one. Stay healthy, everybody.